and welcome to Bethan's Kitchen and Garden. Today I'm going to be sorting out the compost heaps. So what I need to do is empty one of my heaps and then turn the other one into the empty one, and then that should hopefully free up some space so I can actually clear some crops from the garden, because at the moment my heaps are full and I need to sort this out. Here are my two compost heaps. I've got my comfrey growing out here. I harvested a lot of comfrey this morning to make more comfrey tea and some nettle tea, because there's nettles here as well. There's more comfrey over here. What I want to do is take the leaves, when I've emptied the heap and I'm refilling it, I'm going to take the leaves and put them in the compost as well, because they're really good for the compost. Here, this is the current heap I'm working on, and it's just getting too big. I can't really fit much more in here. And then this is the heap I want to empty, and I'll be interested to see if we have any potatoes in here, because there have been some seeded potatoes. Now I don't know if I can lift this. There we are. Right, so well, there's a potato for a start. Right, well, that was a good start, wasn't it? And there's some more down there. Lovely job. Right, so I put some cardboard here to store, which I will then use when I'm redoing the heap, as it were. And we'll take the cardboard out and we'll see what state the compost is in underneath. Here is the first barrow load of compost. I'm very pleased with it. It's a mixture of garden waste and kitchen scraps, and then some chicken compost as well, from where the chickens have been pooing on the compost where their ground is. There are still some wrigglers in here. There's quite a lot of worms in here, so it's probably broken down enough for me to use, but it probably would like to be broken down a bit more. But I'm going to use it, and hopefully then those worms will get into my beds and make the compost really great in my beds. So I'm going to go and dump this on my empty bed at the moment, and then we'll see what else we've got to do. A very happy thing has just happened to me. I was bringing my wheelbarrow around from the compost heap with the compost in it, and I saw my neighbour opposite, and I said to him, I've just got some compost from my compost heap. So he came and had a look, because he gardens as well. He was like, oh, it looks good. And I said, yes, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of it, because I need to empty the compost heap and I haven't really got anywhere to put it. And he said, I've got a Dalek bin if you want it, that I don't use. Would you like it? So I was like, yes, please. So I have acquired a Dalek bin. Let me show you. So here it is. I just need to work out where I'm going to put it now, and I think just for the time being I'm going to put it just by my conservatory there, because it doesn't need to be in the sun, because it's got compost that is ready to go essentially. I just want to store it somewhere. So I'm going to get on and fill this bin now with compost. This was what we ended up with out of the compost heap. So if I put that one with the rest, that's a good amount of potatoes there. We'll probably have 2 meals from there for the 4 of us. And maybe I'll make chips out of them, or my husband will make chips rather. He tends to do the unhealthy cooking and I do the healthy cooking. So I'll get him to make some chips. Right, let's have a look at something else. My next job is to get these potatoes planted. I bought them from the garden centre about a month ago with the intention of planting them the very next day that I bought them. And then of course things just got out of hand. Well, not got out of hand, but I just never got around to doing it. So today is the day they go in. I've got some of the compost from the compost heap, which I've mixed with some old compost that I had some cucumbers growing in. So I had sort of 2 pots of shop bought compost that was right up to the top. So I've used the 2 pots mixed with my own compost, and hopefully it will now make 6 pots. So I've put a potato already in the base, and I've put some potato fertilizer in there as well. So I will just cover this over now up until about 2/3 of the way, and then I'll pop another potato in on this side so they can grow at different levels. I'm just doing 2 potatoes per pot, and these are Charlotte's. Here is the next lot of potatoes. So I've levelled up the compost and I've popped a potato on the other side, and hopefully these will grow, and I shall grow them in the cold frame when the weather gets a bit a bit more colder. But I'm going to top these up now, and that will be them done. So that cold frame over there is going to be their final destination, but for the time being they are just in a nice line here. It's meant to rain later on today. It's meant to really pour down, so I shall hold off watering until later on tonight, and I'll water them if the rain hasn't done it for me. I've been rained off a couple of times, but I'm pleased to say the heap is now empty. I used some of the compost on some of the beds to top them up. So I topped up the sweet corn and bean bed, because when the sweet corn and beans come out, my garlic is going to go in. And I also topped up the bed next to it, because it's got Swedes in it at the moment, but the Swedes are not looking very healthy. They look like they're rotting off, so I'll probably harvest all of that bed soon, and then the garlic can go in there as well. I've also topped up my potatoes where I've got my main crop potatoes. They're still in the ground, although they're like in raised beds essentially. I've topped that up, and I've got about half of that compost heap filled. You know, the hardest, I've got half of that filled, so that's good. I'm now going to turn the compost heap into the empty one and clear away my blighted tomatoes, and then I've got some compost to go on top of those blighted tomatoes. Back at the compost heap, I've turned what was in here into here, and this is now only half full. So I need to clear away loads of my courgette leaves and squash leaves from over there, and hopefully I'll be able to fill this bay up a bit more. And then this bay, I think all that is pretty well usable compost. Bit anxious now, I'm not going to have enough compost. Well, I never really have enough compost in the spring anyway, but I was planning to, you know, to do a layer of mulch on everything in the spring, but I don't think I'm going to have the compost for that. So we'll have to wait and see anyway. I've got the compost heap that's full of manure, horse manure that's rotting down. That's got the courgettes on it, and I've also got the compost heap that's full of like chicken manure that's got the squashes on it, and hopefully I'll be building another compost heap that I will fill with manure, and maybe that will be rotted down enough by spring as well. Right, let's go and clear some stuff away in the garden because it's looking a bit of a mess again. I've cleared away a lot of the squash foliage now, and I even cleared away a lot of the mildewy courgette leaves, so hopefully these will keep going for a little bit longer now. They'll just keep on trucking on, hopefully. Look how much this compost has dropped in here. That was full up to the top, so that horse manure has definitely dropped a lot. And then all my squashes are now ready for harvesting. This squash plant had actually died back of its own accord, and this had sort of like snapped off or broken off, and there was no other squashes on that plant. So this big tub produced one squash, one crown prince, and then this is my straw bale gardening, which you can see a full list of in my shorts playlist. This plant here produced 3 crown prince squash. The other one is over there. So this one did really well. Then that little tub over there produced 2 uchiki. Then there's one off this one plant here. There's a butternut which is still ripening, and there's another uchiki. But this plant here did well, it's still going, and it is producing flowers, but it's too late in the season now. So I shall be harvesting these pumpkins and squashes, and just leaving them somewhere in the sun to ripen. All the foliage from the squash plants and the sweet corn and the melons have all gone into here now, and it's still not quite full, but I'm sure I will find other things that need to go in here over the next few days, so that's good. And then I can, as I empty some more beds now, because a lot of things are coming to the end and I need to replant or, you know, re-sow things for the winter, this can go on the beds that I empty, and then in a couple of weeks time I can turn this into here, and maybe if I can manage it I can get hold of some horse manure and fill that up for the winter. So that's the plan. So after doing all that harvesting and clearing, here is the last of the Minnesota midget melons, the last of the sweet corn, and a couple of little germ lettuces that are beginning to go to seed. So quite happy with that haul. And that is it from me for today. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one, where I'll be filling up the beds that I've just emptied and hopefully getting on with a few other jobs. But I'm very pleased with how the garden's looking at the moment.